Yay! Okay, welcome to our call. And thank you guys for your videos. I like to see the faces. It really does help everything. Okay, so I want to first and foremost just say that it's freaking cold all day long. What do you people do with your phones? Because my phone has been like draining its battery so fast that I can't, I never knew this. I had no idea. So I literally charged it 4 times today. Missed a call. I was supposed to be out at 2 o'clock. Really kind of a pain in the patercus. But anyway, all right, I'm trying to stay warm. I'm excited about tomorrow night. We're going to have a fun sales coordinator training. That's going to be awesome. And this is kind of a good lead into that, actually. So I'm excited to do this. And Buffy was with us this weekend at the Orange County Regional. So some of this may be a little bit familiar coming off of that, but I'm tweaking things a little bit because I really want to talk to you guys tonight about dreaming. And, you know, I teased you with the power of one and kind of put that out there, but I really want you to think, because it's so timely that today being Martin Luther King Day, right? That the famous quote that always sticks with me is, I had a dream, right? I have a dream. I have a dream. And wouldn't that be so timely that that would be what we would be talking about tonight? So I just want to really ask you guys tonight to everybody just kind of close your eyes for a second, take a super deep, like slow breath in and hold that. And I'm watching you, so close your eyes. Nice, slow, deep breath in. And when you fill up your lung capacity, hold it for just like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 seconds, as long as you can. And then slowly, slowly let it out. Awesome. Good. I wanted to do that to just kind of cleanse the energy as we step into this exercise. But really what I want to help you guys do tonight is dream a little bit. The more I thought about, like, we came off this training at the Orange County Regional, and Peggy Rivera, who's a good friend of mine, but also a really, really strong, amazing leader, took us through an exercise, and she really said that people are forgetting how to dream, and that she was one of those people. And she kind of took herself and she shared her story from the main stage. And it was really interesting to kind of listen to somebody like her who's been so incredibly successful start out in this business with the inability to dream. And it got me thinking about dreams in general. And it's something that, you know, we do dream boards and we do activities and we kind of throw the word around a lot. But as I saw the hands go up around me when she asked the question, was this hard for anybody to go through this exercise? I was shocked at how many went up. And it really made me think, because typically what I'm finding is that there's a connection between the inability to dream and the lack of having a why in this business. And I really am starting to think that there's a sequence to this, that we need to open our minds to the possibility of something more or different, of something that we want. You know, a lot of us stop that thinking of like, I want, because we've either been told as kids so many times, you know, and we probably don't even remember it happening. No, you can't have it. No, you can't have it. Stop asking, stop want, you know, that kind of language. And to nobody's fault, you know, but just like, where does this come from? This inability to really open our minds. And and do any of you, you know, as we go through this exercise, it'll be curious to me to see if anybody feels guilty at some point when we finally do get to a space where you're able to write down something that you do want. Like, is there that instant feeling of like, is that too much? You know, like, we put limitations on all these things, and I think it comes from a lot of societal pressures and other things. But really going down this road together, I want to just create this safe space, and, you know, just keep picturing yourself and your paper and your page. So it's between you and the page. And for those of you that are brave enough to share some of your responses, it's going to help the conversation move along and really help us bond, I think, as a team. So I would encourage you to, if you can and are up to it, when we get to that space, to really just jump in and share. But this is what we're going to focus on tonight, is really, you know, the sequence of creating a dream, having a dream, you know, driving or creating a purpose or a why, right? Connecting that to your business and helping that develop into a story. Because at the end of the day, it's our story is our best tool. And sharing Juice Plus and sharing the company and sharing everything, people want to know what the experience is like for you. And so as we start out new reps, Danielle and I have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, really revamping kind of our whole process, and we'll be rolling that out once we get it concrete. But really just preparing you guys to go out there with vigor and confidence and strength, you know, of your personal story being the number one thing that you have to connect with the world and create that bridge to invite them in. So, so the first exercise, this is what I thought would be kind of fun. So I wanted to ask you guys, first and foremost, what do you think it is that causes us to stop dreaming? And is it, you know, I don't even think it's any fault of our own, but you know, is there something that you can think of that prohibits you in your life? And if you're vulnerable and strong enough to, confident enough to answer this question, I know it's a little bit of a sticky one. Please feel free. I really want to encourage you guys to share. I know for me, the limitations often comes from money. You know, it's like I dream up into a certain price point, and then I kind of stop. You know. Does anybody else have any input on that? Like, what do you think that maybe like causes us to halt?
I just want to say that
I think
we're all wanting to say something.
Lisa, go for it.
I think it's like a sequence of for us and I say us because Manny and I did go on a date last night, and
yay!
I took a little shred pause, but you know, we talked about goals and stuff, and I think that, you know, for us it was like expanding our 2 tanning salons and then going into debt from that, and then purchasing a house and having our first kid and having the second kid, and then oops, there's the third kid, which is a blessing. And so it's just life happened, and I said to him, like, what are your goals? Like short term, long term, medium term, you know? So we kind of talked about some of that last night as a couple and individual, because life is happening and it's always happening. So we have to continue dreaming and doing all that stuff. Otherwise, you know, most of us on this call are 39 this year, like soon we'll be 49 and 59 and 69. And then what? So life.
There you go. Okay. Awesome. Who else wanted to jump in and say something?
I was going to say for me, say the same thing as Lisa, ironically. I think that it's just the hustle and bustle of daily life that we forget, you know, long term. And, you know, everyone loves to dream, but I feel like just like Lisa was saying, life gets in the way. Like you're just focusing on the right now, you know, rather than looking ahead a lot of the times.
Yep. Who else? Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Worrying about what other people think.
That's a huge one. Good for you, Jen.
Even when we say we think we don't believe that, we still let it affect us.
That's one of the most honest things I've heard somebody say all week. Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing, like an outside influence, which could be a person, people.
Outside limitations, all right.
Yep.
Awesome. Anybody else?
For me, my daughter's medical issues.
So things outside of your control? Is that another way to say it? Things outside of your control? Does that feel like another way to say that?
Yeah, just when even though she has made huge improvements, sometimes or often when she has bumps in the road, I let it halt my dreams. And I have to stop doing that, because I have to focus on how far she has come, especially since being on Juice Plus, and just say that's a bump. That's all it is. But that's very, very challenging for me.
So this brings up a good point, and I want you to hold on to that when we come back around and circle around, because there's things that come in and interrupt, and that ties into the why. This is the piece I'm talking about. First, we have to get ourselves to a space where we can even open up to think of things differently, as life differently for ourselves, right? And then that tends to be the thing that will pull us through those bumps in the road, because it's going to happen to all of us. I mean, look at me, this last year, whoever could have predicted all the stuff that happened, right? But it's how we, like, how important is the driving force to get you through it, right? And the more real we can make these dreams, the more lifelike we can make them, the easier it is to attach to them, and then the stronger the pull is to get through. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else before I move on to the next one?
What I was saying is, for me, it's financial, just allocating money to something that's not a necessity. And then also, I think when you have kids, you kind of, I do this, to just kind of shift your focus to them and what your dreams are for them, what their dreams are. And I just get more absorbed doing that.
Yep.
Kind of your dreams take a backseat away.
Right. And what's so interesting in that, Jen, is that, and this is all what I'm learning, this is something that I've been really thinking about over the last 2 years a lot, but what I learned is that we model that then for our children, right? And it's like, as much as they need to be a priority, if we can't show them that dreaming is such a critically important thing in our development as people, and attaining those dreams is possible, then what does it set them up for when they get to this stage, right? So just a little nugget to kind of stick in there and hold on to for a second. All right, so my next question as a follow-up to that is, how do we get it back? Because without the ability to dream, I'm not sure that you can have a real why. And without a why, like I said, this whole experience becomes stunted. And that's not what we want for people. We really want to kind of dig in and plant those roots so we can grow this awesome blossoming tree above, But it's got to start with something. So the question is, how do we get it back? Any suggestions or thoughts around that? Or maybe somebody that's been able to do that.
What came to my mind first thing?
What?
Which is awful for me to say, but F everybody. Forget everybody. Seriously, you have to have these desires and these dreams. Screw everybody else. Just I'm sorry, that's the first thing that came to my head. I was gonna write it down.
But maybe getting to a fed up point, let's call it that, right? A fed up point, I'm fed up, I'm done. There's a line in the sand, I'm ready now, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
I think saying them out loud. My kids know, I keep planting little seeds in their heads. I'm in 14 years, Dad and I are buying an island. And it may not be an island. It may be a winter home or something. But, I say it so they know. Yeah. So in 14 years, it's not wait, why are you leaving New York? Because I don't want to live here forever. Or maybe I will own a home here, but somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
So say it out loud.
Say it out loud. I love it. Well, in 15 years, I'm going to come to visit you on that island. Tell me where to buy the ticket. That's all.
Sure. We're going to start looking in about 10 years. So.
Perfect. It's perfect amount of time to celebrate 49. There we go. All right. Who else? Anybody else want it? The question was, how do we get it back?
I personally go to seek out others that do support me.
I love it. Was that you, Greta? I couldn't flip fast enough. Yeah. Okay. So a support system, right? Or maybe to be around other like-minded people. Right?
Same concept.
Yep. Love it. Okay. Anyone else?
Well, to go off what Lisa said, saying out loud, I think is very important, but also writing them down, visualizing. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, and this is where those manifestation boards come in so handy. And that's why we really make that a conscious exercise each year for everybody, because, it's having that in your visual consciousness. It starts to sink in and it becomes more repetitious. You see it on a regular basis. It doesn't work if you have it made and it's put over in a corner, it's got to be in your plain sight every day. But they really do. And if I love, one day I'll take you guys through my old dream boards and you're going to laugh when you start to look at the things that I put up there. I think, Michelle, your name was on a board of so long ago. All these things that just have come true, over time that I almost didn't notice it when they were happening, but looking back, it's oh my gosh, look at all those checklists, that come from it. All right. Is there anybody else before I move on to the next thing?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's important to recognize and acknowledge that you're worthy of it.
Yes.
And without getting too deep, but you are. And I think oftentimes people do not allow themselves to realize that they are worthy of having a dream, regardless of how big it seems. You are worthy of that.
Beautiful. It's like poetry. I just wrote it down. Thank you. All right. All right. So what I want to, okay, so I wrote here, and I'm trying to read my notes because this was all coming to me very fast earlier. So now I want to ask this a little bit differently, because sometimes just by tweaking a word, it allows us to do things differently or different things to come to mind. Okay. So, all right. It says, I wrote down, our brains are built to want. And I don't know if you guys all know this, but from the time that we were born wanting. It is in our natural DNA. It is in our psyche to want all the time. And so it's interesting to me to get to this space of adulthood when all of a sudden all these other things that you guys have mentioned, right, seem to get in the way and start to block us of that. But it's a block of energy flow too, if you think about it, right? Because if our DNA is designed to be that way and to want those things, and yet we're holding that back, then we're creating our own blocks internally by stopping this process. So I wanted to just bring that up because I wanted to bring it to the forefront of your thinking that, you know, this is such a natural thing, and it's not a materialistic thing. It's not or whatever. It's just a very natural ingrained piece inside of us to have a healthy experience, right, is to want. And the other thing that I wrote down here is, do you give yourself the permission? And this kind of ties into what Danielle was talking about, but do you give yourself the permission to want the things that you want? And I'd love you guys to respond yes or no to that.
Depends on how big the thing is.
Yeah.
Always.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
When it comes to shopping, too much.
That's so perfect. Yeah. Okay, good.
I do not.
Buffy.
I'll jump in. Yep. I do not give myself permission to want the things that I want, because
Wow.
I tend to go, nope, that's selfish. I need to think of my kids. I need to think of my family. That is not something that I can want right now, if I'm being totally brutally honest.
That is so beautiful.
She's not the
and
only one either. She's definitely not the only one. I feel the same way.
I think I'm the same way as well.
I can't thank you guys enough for your honesty tonight. This is so beautiful, and where we're going to go with this is even more special. Buffy, thank you so much for opening that door.
I often do the same thing as well. Even just today, there were things I wanted to get accomplished, and I love my daughter dearly, but I put her needs. I always put her needs first, and sometimes you have to put or put her wants first, and that's not always what's best.
Well, and obviously there's times and seasons for that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. But when it becomes a repetitious pattern, and the bucket, it's like the holes in the bucket, they keep draining from the bottom. I love that. I love that saying where it says you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's something I tell myself all the time, because I get to that space and realize I'm almost on empty. I got to stop and go refuel, right?
A great way to put it.
Yeah. I hear a lot of water in the background, just FYI. Okay. So exercise. So what I want you guys to do right now, now that we've kind of warmed up a little bit, is I want you right now to close your eyes and picture something that you really, really, really want. And it may take a couple minutes, so that's why you want to close your eyes. You want to take the distractions away and try to see just the first thing that comes to mind, something that you really, really, really want. And once you get it, I want you to write it down. I can't hear you, Jen.
Just one thing?
Whatever comes to mind. No limitations. No limitations at all. Okay, about 10 more seconds. Okay. Okay. Was that hard for anybody? Marie's like, no, man, I got a long list. I love it. Did anybody struggle trying to think of the first thing? Like usually once the first thing comes, then it kind of like rolls after that, but sometimes it's hard to get to that first one.
Thought of it from the last question before you asked us to write it down.
Okay, good. 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 Then it worked. Okay. Now I want to take you through another exercise, and this one is a little bit, some of you may have been through this a little bit before, so roll with it, okay? But now we're going to close your eyes, and I want you to picture that you're with 3 of your friends. You're driving in a car. You're going down the highway, windows down, ocean to your left. It's a beautiful day. You're laughing, you're smiling, you're on your way to a boot camp. You're blaring music. It's your dream car. What car is it? Write that down. And then when you get that down, and that may take some time for some people, sometimes it gets tripped up on that one. Who was with you in that car? I said picture 3 friends. Who were the first 3 friends that popped into mind? Write those down. Now, your exercise for this week is if those 3 people were not on your team right now, we need to strategize a way to invite them on your team this week. Okay? Because the reality is that when you relax your mind enough to enjoy what you're doing, right, you're going to start to do it better with the people you care most about, and the people you want along with you in that car are the people that are going to be your board of directors. Those are going to be the people that kind of lead you through this experience. And oftentimes it's hard. We put blocks on putting their names on paper if I ask it a different way. If I say, who are the, the top 3 people you can count on the most, we start to go, oh, it's, for me, it's this girl, like one of the girls that I'm thinking of is this girl, Jen, that I know in California, and I've been wanting to ask her chicken. She's on my chicken list, right? And I keep asking and asking, and I don't get to the point where I do. And I'm like, why? Why do I stop myself? And I know why. It's because I'm afraid she's going to say no. Because she's got a big old career. She makes a lot of money. She's super awesome, and she's intimidating to me. That's why I say no. I stop myself before. But if I ask it in this way, somebody asked this question of me this weekend. They said, who would you, if you could have lunch with somebody that would like you would be really super excited to have lunch with that one person? I wrote her name down. I didn't write some celebrity or whatever. I wrote her name down, and that told me that that's where I have to go. That's the space next, right? So what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is really help to build your confidence in your business story. We're going to help to build your dream capacity. And next week I have coming on the call Steve Shapiro, who's our West Coast Regional Director. And he's going to come on and really talk about building our business story into our product story and sharing both. Because the more we share our total Juice Plus experience story, that's going to be what carries us forward. And that's what's really going to help us build a big business. So I won't stop and ask about the cars, but I will go around and do this one last exercise because I want to finish on this. And I would love it for you guys if you can put it up in the Voxer chat, your answers to the 2 of these 2 things, okay? There is no wrong answer. Nobody's going to judge you. This is 100% safety space, okay? But I really just want to help draw this out so that we can get this to help us start working towards things, okay? So the first question you're going to write down is, what was the name of the car? What kind of car did you want? So you're going to type that in, and then below that, you're going to go to this second exercise, this last one, and then we'll finish right here, okay? So All right, last time. Close your eyes. All right, you get a knock at the door. The UPS guy just showed up and he's got a signed delivery for you. You open it up and inside there's an envelope. You weren't expecting this. Inside is a check, and on that check is this crazy amount. I want you to write the number down that is so significant it would bring tears to your eyes because it would change everything for you and your family in your life right now. What's that number? Thumbs up when you wrote your number down, so I know we're all done. Okay. I'm going to leave you guys thinking on that note. But here's the deal, right? My goal is to help each of you clear that number in your paycheck. That's my goal. That's all I care about, is helping you get whatever you want. And I don't care how big or how small or how audacious that number is. I will not stop until the day we get it done, because I love you that much. And that is my commitment to every single person on this team. You show up, I show up. Got it?
That number was supposed to be monthly?
It doesn't matter. I didn't put parameters. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did notice. That's why I asked.
Okay.
So you want us to put the car and the number on the Voxer chat?
Yeah, explain what the number is. If it's annual or if it's, monthly, whatever. Just explain the number so that the math works out. But yeah, I have something fun coming behind that. For your bravery, I'm rewarding all of you. Okay. And with that, I shall say good night. Thank you guys for playing all out. It means a lot. Great job tonight.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.